And welcome, I'm Solo, and this is ZN Gaming. In this video, I'll be going over how to make vertical content with OBS from clips you might already be using, and we'll do it with zero editing skills. Before I waste any more time, let's jump into it. To get started, we will be using Atium vertical plugin. This is a plugin that's installed to OBS, so let's just jump over to aitum.tv to grab the plugin. Once the site loads up, we're just going to scroll down to here. It's going to say our suit includes, and it's going to have three options here. We just want to grab the Atium vertical plugin, but there is other things here if you want to check them out. We're just going to click the download. This is going to bring us to a page, and it should start downloading automatically. If not, it will have a click here if it doesn't automatically start. Once it's downloaded, just install it like any other application. Give it a click yes, and continue through the installing process. Once it's installed, we're just going to open OBS. If you already had OBS open, you're going to need to restart it. So give it a close and then reopen it. Once it loads up, you should now see a new vertical canvas, and you will also have the scenes and sources separate from your regular scenes and sources, which won't have anything in it. I have a couple things in here because I was testing it just to make sure that I had it set up correctly for the example. But this here vertical canvas is going to be like its own little scene. It's going to be separate from all the rest of the stuff, and the things that you do in here aren't going to be affected on your stream unless you're using the plugin to stream from, which is an option. You can stream or record from here. So if you're just recording or streaming and only wanted to make vertical content, you could definitely just use this here. You don't need to use the rest of it. So that is something to keep in mind if you're just making vertical content, and that's the reason why you're picking this plugin up. Now we are going to need to add a few things in here to our vertical scene. As you can see, it's just a blank canvas. I turned everything off so that you could see what it would look like from scratch. And what we're going to need to do, yours is going to be blank and it's going to have nothing in it. If you already have scenes and you already have sources selected, the easiest way to import it all over here, depending on how you want it to look, is just by going here, clicking the add, going to the scenes, and then selecting your scenes. For me, this is going to be the overlays, recording scene, and face cam. Those are the three that I'm going to want. So what I do is I'm going to add the recording scene. It's going to show here. It's not going to be quite the right size, but what you can do is you can actually drag this here to the correct size. Wait till it clicks. You can give it a right click here, go down to transform, and then you'll be able to center to screen. This is just going to help you make sure that you keep everything lined up. The next thing we'll do is where we already have face cam and everything over here is we can continue to add each thing as its own scene. If you have a separate face cam, you might want to just add something twice. If you have a face cam here and it's not its own scene, you'll just, in the same way you'll add it, is add a capture device and then go down and select the one that you already have, and that should be fine. I'm going to delete this one here. And we're just going to continue to add our other three scenes. So we're going to add our face cam. So our face cam is going to be right here. For this here, we're going to put our face cam somewhere where the game's going to be able to see us, but we're not going to block too much. This is going to be for TikTok, so we want our camera in a different place than we normally would have it in our main canvas. So I'm going to stick it right here in the middle because I like this. And the last thing that we want to add is our alerts. So if you wanted any alerts or anything else in here, you would just add them. I'm not going to add the alerts for this here example because in your vertical content, when you're posting it, if you're using this here for posting on TikTok, you don't accidentally want your alerts and stuff to come up inside of this here content. So maybe not a good idea to add it, but definitely add your normal scene, your recording scene with your stuff on it, whatever you have, and your face cam. Once you have it sorted and kind of have things the way that you want them, this is the time that you want to make it look like what you want your content to be. So this is to help you prevent you from having to do a whole bunch of editing. So take your time and make it look like what you want it to look like when it's finished, so you don't have to edit it as much. Or if you're not editing, make it look like it was edited before it ever leaves the channel. So when you click clip, it's already going to be ready for you to go. After that's all done, the more work you do now, the less you will need to do later. So that is another thing to keep in mind. If you make this here look really good so that you don't have to worry about any kind of editing, that's going to save you a lot of work in the future. That being said, once you do have it the way that you want it to look for clips, for things such as posting on like Shorts or TikTok or what have you, or any other platform, now all we need is a fast way to clip it in the best possible quality. And to do this, we want to set up the replay buffer and add a hotkey. There's a a few other things that we're going to want to do, but we're going to want that so that we can just at a push of a button be able to make sure that we have our clip for our main content and our clip for our TikTok or whatever the platform that you're using. To do this, we're just going to go over to the settings. We're going to go down to the output tab. Now we're in advanced. I definitely suggest being advanced, but it's not needed. When we go over to the replay buffer, we just want to make sure that we click enable on the replay buffer and make sure that it's 60 seconds or more. It depends on how long you want your clips. 60 seconds works for me, but if you find yourself clipping and missing bits of your clip, you can add as many seconds as you want, and I definitely would try and keep it under 3 minutes. If you're going over 3 minutes, unless you're planning to do edits to it or something like that, I would definitely stay under the 3 minutes. Once it gets that long, you're going to need to cut, trim, and edit. In this here video, we're trying to avoid all that as possible, so I definitely suggest something within the 60-second range. We want to make it easy to post, and we want it to be kind of a low effort content for anyone that doesn't know how to edit yet as well. That being said, after that, just click the apply. Now, there is some things we want this here replay buffer that we just turned on to start every single time we stream, because we don't want to have to remember to go here and turn it on. We don't want to have to go over here and click on the start replay buffer every single time, because we're not going to remember it every single time. And to save us from mistakenly forgetting to turn it on, we can go to the general tab, and here in the output, there's going to be an automatically start replay buffer when streaming. Definitely give this a check mark and click apply again. That's just going to save you from any of the mistakes. Many times if I made the mistake that I've clicked go live, and when I clicked the clip and I went to look for my vertical and I just didn't have it because the replay buffer wasn't on, so I didn't end up getting that clip and it was lost content. So hopefully this here will prevent that from happening. And now the last thing we need is just a way to get the clips. So for this here, we're going to set a hotkey, but there is lots of other ways to do it. For this example, we're going to go down and find the replay buffer and the vertical backtrack. For this, we're going to want something simple. Right now I have Control Alt Shift F6. That is for a different video that I did make on how to set it up. But we're going to go in here and we're going to use something very simple. We're definitely not going to use backspace. We're either going to use page up or screenshot. I find those there keys you never really use too much. And ones that are out of the way, this will be one button push and it'll clip your stream for you. If you use the screenshot, it actually might bring up the snipping tool for you in the middle of your game, so that might be a problem. So page up or page down seem to be the ones that work for me. If you don't have a device, if you have a Stream Deck or something like that, or something that you can use later on, you can definitely make this a lot more complicated if you don't have to remember to push it on your keyboard. This is going to be a very low effort. This is going to be something that you're going to be able to just, instead of asking your chat to clip it, you're just going to be able to push it on your keyboard. It's right above your arrows. It's super easy, super fast to touch, and we're just going to use it as the example and click apply. We definitely, another thing to note is we want to make sure that the replay buffer and the vertical backtrack are set to the exact same hotkey. So you're going to get your main content that you could be using for YouTube, and it's also going to make you a vertical format of the exact same clip. So if you're posting to 2 or more different platforms, this will give you 2 different varieties of content so that you're not missing the clips and you're not having to edit to be able to put that same clip on TikTok or other platforms. So this is just kind of an easy way, an easy workflow to kind of cheat out a lot of the editing that would normally be necessary. After that's set, click the apply and click OK. Now we want to set the quality of the clips, because when we're taking a local clip, we can make the quality a lot better than what you're going to download from like Twitch. If you clip something on Twitch, it's going to download enough very good. It's not going to be a very good bitrate at all. So for this here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the recording tab. We're going to do the output recording tab. And in here, we're just going to leave everything stock except for the bitrate. We're going to change it to 15,000 bitrate. And this is just so that our clip that's going to be recorded from our replay buffer is going to be a lot better than our stream. So I definitely suggest 15,000 and no more. Your Twitch stream is only going to be 6,000. So this is going to be over double the quality. Definitely user discretion is advised here. If you have a really beefy computer and you could do 45,000, go ahead. Do whatever. This is my recommended though, 15,000 bitrate. Just set that in your recording, just so that the quality is going to be a lot better for the replay buffer that's recorded. Other than that, make sure that all of these here settings are the same as your stream, other than the bitrate. Make sure that it's not too crazy different. I left mine pretty much exactly the same. It's NVIDIA NVENC H.264, and then make sure to click apply after that's done. Now, the last thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to actually need to do this here for the vertical plugin as well. So over here in this here vertical canvas, they have a little settings wheel down here. Give this here a click. Now this isn't going to load up a lot of options, but it is going to have a couple of very important ones. The first we're going to need to do is go through and check to see if these here things were set correctly. So you want to make sure that your record length is 60 seconds. If it says 3 or 8 or 5, you're going to need to change it to 60. Where your recording path is going to be. So you could have a folder called shorts. I just have a hard drive called recording. You can just click browse, go through your computer and click whatever folder that you want to put your recordings in. I have a hard drive for this here, so that's what I'm using. But you can select any other folder. You can select it on your desktop so that your shorts are going to go somewhere else separate from your recordings. Right now I have both mine going to the same spot. I don't recommend that. And it's also going to show the hotkey that's used, which you can change at any time. Like I said, if you have another way of doing it, you can definitely make this a little bit more complex. But for this example, page up, page down, screenshot, those are going to be the easiest one button touches for you to be able to get the clip as fast as possible without you having to look at your keyboard or mash something in the middle of a game that I just don't think is very convenient. So we're not going to do that. So after that's checked, we're going to go down, make sure our audio is the same as our stream. So if you have your audio set to a higher bitrate than 160, you should definitely change it here as well so that your audio is going to be the same level of quality for your stream and for your vertical. Next, we're just going to go down here to the recording tab, and it's the same thing here. We're going to change the bitrate to 15,000, and there's an option here to start and stop recording when main OBS starts and stops recording. If you're recording vertical or streaming and using this here plugin as a main way to actually stream and record, you'll definitely want to make sure you have this here checked. I'm not using it to record, and I'm only using it for the clip, so this is something I'm not going to check on this. After that's done, we're going to click OK. Now, from here, after we're done, we're going to want to restart our OBS. So we're going to give it a close and load it back up. Now, why I'm doing this is because I had issues in my last installation. That's what the test was for. And it just was not, it wasn't going more than 8 seconds of a clip. And it's because I had to restart and start and stop the record buffer. So I definitely suggest making sure you test it. What we're going to do, we're going to turn on the replay buffer. This is going to start for us automatically when we're streaming, but for this example, I'm not streaming. So you want to start the replay buffer, and you want to make sure that it's going for 30 seconds before you try to use it. If you try to use it and don't have more than 30 seconds, the clip might seem like it's not working correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait 60 seconds or a minute, and then we'll click the hotkey that we set, which is page up or page down, and you'll see what happens when we do that. Okay, I have it remuxing my videos. That's not something that you need to do. That's another thing I just forgot that I have done. In your settings, in advanced settings, I have automatic remux to MP4. You do not need to have this on. That's the only reason why that came up for me, but I thought I should mention that because that is something you might not see and wonder why. I have in the recording tab, I have automatic remux to MP4. To be honest, you can just set the quality to an MP4 if you're not worried about recording. I record, and if you have a power outage with an MP4, it's unsavable. I use a different format when I'm recording. I use the MKV. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. That's it. That there took the clip. We'll want to go make sure that we check the clip. This is definitely something I suggest doing. Make sure that you go and check the clips to make sure that it's the correct length and that it's working correctly. Okay, and I've done this here a couple times. I did notice that the backtrack happens to be on top of the clips. So they do order a little bit different because one says backtrack and the other says replay buffer. So putting them in a different folder won't hurt. But we'll give this one here a check. It's 57 megabytes. Seems a little short. We'll give it a check. It's perfect. So this is what the vertical format is going to look like. I only had it on for 30 seconds over here in the replay buffer, or it would have gotten the full minute. So definitely make sure you test it to make sure that you leave it for the full minute to make sure that your clip is getting the full 1 minute. If it has any issues, definitely make sure that you go over your settings. And in here is usually the biggest mistake is the 60 seconds in here. I forgot to set this one here at first and it did have a few issues with it. Now that it's set up, it's easy as hitting a hotkey to get an amazing looking clip for all platforms. This will give you your vertical content and your normal content for all platforms. There's a lot more ways to set this up if a hotkey is not for you. If you're interested in setting this up to work with a chat command or a voice command, I have a video of how to do that with a voice command. I'll leave a link in the description below. If you're looking to set it up with a chat command, stay tuned and get subscribed so you don't miss it. If you think I forgot or left something out, definitely leave it in the comments below. And if you like or found the video helpful, hit the thumbs up and get subscribed for more content. Thanks for watching. Bye!